act like because we were representing our school and our community. And it was very important to set a good example, not just to set an example, but to just be a good person and to respect and to inspect the game. And so I guess one of the stories would be just from this past championship the other day that we played. We lost the match in the score, but I was extremely proud of my girls because when their opponent hit a good shot, my girls that were cheering and my parents, they only cheered when we maybe hit a winner or, it was a long point, it was hard fought. We showed our opponent respect. We didn't cheer when they double faulted or they net an easy volley. Or I just wanted to give an overview. Building up people that respect other people, it takes time and it takes consistency. So you may have something more specific you'd like to share. I'd love to hear that.
One of the fun things for me is that because I've coached at now 7 different schools, I've had to teach the same lesson over and over again to these 7 different groups. And basically, it's exactly what you said. We're not going to clap when the other team makes an unforced error, except we have like a little specific rule about how we can cheer for our player without it seeming as though we're cheering because the other player missed. So one thing I teach my players is this: if you want to cheer for our player, but the other point just now ended in an unforced error, then count 1, 2, 3, and say, go Priscilla, so that it's not right on the heels of that error. I think, and really the number one message that I try to get across to everybody is that the reason that we don't want to do that is because we want to see the other team play well. We want to beat them when they're playing well. We want to see great tennis. We don't want to drag them down. Back to tennis should have higher standards of sportsmanship than other sports. Now, I'm a crazy football fan and a basketball fan and a baseball fan. And, I'm not above yelling all sorts of crazy stuff at a football, basketball, baseball game. And it's all in the din of the constant noise of those sports. And the athletes themselves don't even really hear that because there isn't really any quiet time for them to hear that. But a tennis player could hear that. A golfer could hear that. I've even explained it to skateboarders. When I tell them to stop making so much noise over there, I go, hey, have you ever been bowling? And then when you're about to bowl your ball, somebody calls your name, and they go, oh yeah. And I'm like, see, then they understand because then they have some empathy because now they understand what the dilemma is that, in between points, a player needs to be able to collect themselves and be able to move forward into playing that next point. But if the unforced error that they just hit is being celebrated for a good 5 to 10 seconds, that is not a very good sportsmanship experience. But let me tell you, I want to tell a positive experience of great sportsmanship. Yeah. The story I often talk about is I had a number 1 player, and he was the best player in the league. And the second best player in the league was incredibly motivated to beat my player. I mean, we admired this young guy. He was a year younger than my guy, and just amazing how much work that young man put into trying to beat my player. And very polite, respectful young man. And as it turns out, my player was able to beat him all 3 times during the season, but it was not at all easy. It was not an easy thing. And it caused my player then to respond by also working hard to create some separation. Amazing thing is after the end of the championship match where my player had won the championship, the father and the opponent came to me, said, hey, coach, before you guys go on to the next level of playing in the sectional, championships, we wanted to share something that we see in your player that he could improve.
Correct. Yes, I think that that is a great story that exemplifies what can come out of good sportsmanship. And it's what we're all about here at USA Tennis Coach, and what you and I have had to, or have basically cheered in our own personal coaching careers. The idea that promoting a growth mindset, and that other player sharing that with your player help create in him opportunity to grow in his game and in his skill. And you've always talked about blind spots. We all have blind spots, and they pointed out a blind spot in his game that he couldn't see, and you guys were able to go work on it. So that's great.